Hi friends, thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. I'm going to do a tutorial on how to make this beautiful Irish crochet skirt. It's quite a quick crochet project. Got a waistband on the top, we've got a zip here, and then we've got a little fastening hook and eye. So this is how you make a template for the skirt to work onto. I took those measurements and just cut out a paper template. I've attached 4 sheets of paper together to make the template. So we've got the front and then we've got the back. I am going to go ahead and pop a waistband up here, non-elasticated, and the zip's going to sit right there at the back. So I am going to go ahead and start working crochet motifs on the back and on the front, of course. I'm only going to use 3 types of motifs for the design. I'm going to keep it quite simple. So I've got this crescent shaped braid design, I've got this design, and then I've got this round 3D swirl pattern. I'm going to do a really quick demo on making these 3, but if you'd like a slowed down version, you will have to go to my YouTube channel for a slowed down tutorial. So let's start with this motif first. I am using a 4.5mm crochet hook just for reference. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap the yarn around our finger 4 times. Take the yarn off of our finger, put the crochet needle through, and just start to single crochet in to that circle there, like so. And we're going to do that all the way around. Once we've reached the end, we're going to go ahead and just slip stitch into the first chain, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and skip 1 stitch, and we're going to double crochet into that next chain space there, and put your crochet hook through that space, pick up some yarn, go back through, pick up some yarn, because we're making a puff stitch. Now if you're using a thinner yarn, you're going to want to go back and forth about 4 times to make this puff stitch a bit thicker, but I'm using really thick yarn, so I'm just going to go back and forward twice. So what I done there was I literally just pulled through all of the loops. I'm going to chain 1, I'm going to make my second puff stitch, so double crochet in that space. I'm going to go in that space, pick up yarn, go back in, pick up more yarn, pick up some yarn, and pull through all the stitches, chain 1. I'm going to do the same thing until I reach the end. Okay, so I reached the end and I'm just going to slip stitch into that first bar there. I have made a few motifs where I haven't added these petals onto the center bit, but what I have done is I've just chained 1 and I've single crocheted around this entire base just to give it more of a cleaner look. But I'll show you how to make the petals. So you're going to chain 3, and in every space go ahead and do a slip stitch, 2, 3, and you're going to do that all the way around until you reach the end. So I've just put my last petal space in. Now go into that first petal and just single crochet, go ahead and half double crochet twice, half double crochet, and single crochet. Do that in all the petals around. Again, if you're using thinner yarn, you are going to want to probably do about 4 double crochets to just make it a little bit fuller. And yeah, you do that all the way around and then just slip stitch into that first chain there, and that's the first pattern. Next, I'm going to show you how to make this again really quickly. So grab your yarn and just secure the yarn. 1, 2. So we're chaining 2. Keep your work quite loose there, and now go into that first chain space there, and again we're going to do a puff crochet stitch. I've pulled back and forth twice. You're probably going to want to do about 4 or 5 back and forths if you're using a thinner yarn, and I'm going to do that once again in that last chain space. So 1, 2, pick up some yarn, pull through, chain 1, turn your work around, and now you're going to go in between these 2 puff stitches, single crochet. Keep your work loose, back and forth again as many times as you require, pull through, chain 1, do that again, 2, and chain 1. Keep turning your work back and forth, and this is completely dependent on the length. I tend to do the length that you're trying to achieve. I tend to do 8 puff crochet sets, so I've got 8 here. So go ahead and make that the size that you're looking to work towards. Okay, when you finished your braid, turn your work back around and slip stitch into the center. Now let's start with the petal spaces. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to go in between the chain spaces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just to secure. So go here. I realize that I'm slip stitching instead of single crocheting. You can slip stitch if you want to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but because the work is quite gappy, I prefer to single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So do that all the way until you reach the end. So I've reached the end. I'm just gonna secure the last petal space. I tend to do 2 single crochets in this space just to really secure the work. Now turn the work around and fill in the petals. Single crochet, half double crochet, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. That's the start of the petal. If your yarn is thinner, you're going to probably want to go for 5 to 7 double crochets. Always finish with a half double crochet and then a single crochet into that next chain space there. And you're going to carry that on all the way around in all of the petals, and then just secure your work there at the end, and you will have this pattern here. Now I'm going to show you quickly how to make this swirl piece here. So to make the swirl piece, again, finger, wrap around 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, remove the yarn off of the finger and put your crochet hook through and single crochet in this space until you reach the end. What we're going to do next is we're going to only crochet into that back chain there, not both. So in that back chain there, single crochet. Keep your work a little bit loose, pop a single crochet through there again. In that next back post only, go ahead and do half double crochet. In that same chain, another half double crochet. In that next back space, go ahead and do a double crochet, in that next space, double crochet again, and you're literally going to double crochet twice in the same back chain until you get the desired width of the swirl that you want. Okay, I'm going to stop about there. Now what we're going to do is chain 1, turn the work around, and we're going to go ahead and single crochet in the back 2 chains all the way until we reach the end here. I've now reached the end. What we're going to do now is bend your work back, because we now need to carry on single crocheting, but in all of these spaces here, and that's what's going to give our swirl effect a 3D effect. And with a single crocheting, you're not single crocheting through both of these spaces, only the front chain, like this. Okay, and carry on going all around here until you reach the last one. And if I just zoom out there, you can see that 3D spiral effect coming along. And when you've finished all the way until the end, you'll have something that looks like this. So I've made about 60 motifs in total, and there's another motif, a smaller one, that I'm going to strongly suggest that you make. And that literally is, if you wrap the yarn 4 times around your finger, remove the yarn and push the yarn through, single crochet all the way around this. And when you get to the end, just slip stitch and snip. And I'm going to hide that a little bit later. The reason I really urge you to make this is because these are really good as space fillers, so I'd recommend making about 10 of these. And now let's move on to the stitching. So this is a panel of the skirt. That's what it's looking like so far. I will show you how to stitch these together with a darning needle really briefly, but I do have more in-depth videos, hours and hours of videos showing you how to stitch these motifs together, so please check them out. I'm going to carry on working on the panel that I already have. I'm not using my template because my template's downstairs and I'm too lazy to get it. This is a skirt that I've already crocheted and this fits perfectly, so I'm going to use this. So I'm going to leave a space for the back of this because I am gonna insert this zip here. Okay, I've kind of got the placement there for my motifs, but when you're placing your motifs on your template, they need to be upside down. You always stitch from the back. And if you're a beginner, I would strongly recommend getting these sewing needles and pinning your work down so that it doesn't move. I'm not going to use these because Irish crocheting is my life and I can do it without needing these. So for what I tend to do first is I tend to just secure the work, as you can see, like this, by knotting. Like this. Like that. And I'm gonna just start to stitch these two motifs together like this. Never pull your work too tight. You do want to keep it a little bit loose. And of course, if you're worried about being able to see through this work, you can go ahead and line your work. I'm not sure if I'm going to line this yet. I might do some black tights underneath it because I only ever wear skirts with tights. So we're just going to go through stitches like this and just pull through and tighten the work like this. I like a zigzag look. I don't go for like a boxed or square joining technique. So I've pulled that through. I'm going to just keep that loose. So if I pull that apart, can you see how that's zigzaggy? That's what I like. You want to use the exact same yarn to stitch your motifs together as you have used to make your Irish crochets. And this is literally it. this is how you stitch your work together. And as I said, please go ahead and check out my videos on how to make the motifs and join your projects together, because it can be really helpful to plan, watch and expect kind of what you're supposed to be doing before actually doing it. What I find is with crocheting, if you make a mistake, it's so easy to correct. But when it comes to Irish crocheting, gosh, making a mistake will cost you hours upon hours and so much wasted yarn. So please do plan your work first. There we go. Now, if I want to go, let's say I'm like that, and I've got this motif to join here, but I'm here, I'm not going to cut this yarn off. I will literally weave it all the way through this base here and connect it. So I'd like to keep my cutting in stitching work quite minimal. So I'm going to be back after I finish this side, because with the front side I've got, let me just flip this over, I've got half a side here and I don't have the other half side here. So I'm going to finish up with this side and then I will be back. So we have here the back panel that's nice and complete. I really do like how this is coming along. And then we've got our two back panels here. I'm now gonna start to think about how to put this zip together in the back. And I think I'm just gonna crochet a band using a crochet hook and my leftover yarn. This is all the yarn that I've got left over, so I hope that this is enough for me to make a waistband and to affix this. So I'm just going to go ahead and secure my yarn like I do, and I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to double crochet into the 3 spaces, 3 chain spaces, like this. Chain 2, turn the work around, and I'm going to go ahead and just make this the length of this zip. So carry on. I'm going to have to make 2 of these. I'm going to go ahead and fix them on. I'm going to try and conceal the zip as much as I can and literally just sew it on like this. So I'm going to carry on sticking these together and then I'll be back when I've completed them. Okay, so we've joined our skirt. This is the front, and I'll show you what the back looks like right there. The last thing that we need to do is put a waistband on top. I need a waistband because I'm about 2 inches too big on the top and I've got a teeny weeny little waist. So let's think about how to make that. So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna probably put about 28 chains. I need this to be the exact width of my waist. So I've made my chains according to the length of my waist. Just show you an example of what I'm going for here. I'm going to make this waistband to put on top of this skirt, and I think you can see this on camera, this hook and eye clip I'm going to put that right there, and then I'm going to place one more or two more right there so it fastens in like that. That's what I'm trying to achieve. And to achieve this, we're going to go ahead and chain 2. We're going to double crochet, but from behind that stitch. Now we're going to double crochet from behind this stitch, and then we're going to do in front, and we're literally just going to go back and forth. So I'm going behind this, now I'm going to go in front of the stitch, and now I'm going to go behind it and in front, and I'm literally just going to do that. Can you see how that achieves quite a nice, it's not ribbed, but it's just quite a nice design, I think, for the waistband. Now what I've decided to do is I'm going to add one more row of double crochet line here. The reason is I was thinking of how to put this together, and can you see this? It's going to have to be like this, but I'm going to have to rib this just a little, not rib it, ruche it just a little bit, because the skirt's a little bit wider, because I'm trying to go for an A-line look, and then my waistband is the correct size of my waist. So I don't want to stitch it on like that. That's going to be too gappy. We're going to have to put it underneath here. So to do that, we're just going to do chain 3, turn the work around, and literally just go ahead and double crochet like so. This is what our waistband is looking like. I need to lose about 2 inches of this waistband because that's excess. So what I'm going to do is, of course, I'm going to start from here. I am going to literally sew this in like so. So I'm going to mark this first because this needs to be perfect or it's not going to fit. So I am going to just ruche it just a little bit like this. Like that. So I'm just pulling the work to the left just a little bit, and that's what's going to give me the A-line look. So I'm just going to carry on like this, and then I'm going to get my plastic darning needle, and then I think when we come back around with the excess, because that's going to be inside, we will most likely do a hook and eye fastening just there to really hold the skirt up, and I'll be back when I have completed that. Okay friends, the last thing that I wanted to show is this hook and eye fastening that I have put here, and then we've got that bit there, and this just literally hooks on like this to just fasten the skirt just a little bit more up top. I hope that this video has been helpful for you, and thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but it means the absolute world to me. Thank you so much and have a blessed day. Bye.